Likutei Torah 29. It is almost impossible for a person to rectify his sins in all their aspects, for there are many. For there are many details and various aspects for every sin. However, when one rectifies his brit, one does tshuva and pgam brit, which is the combining element of all channels, he automatically repairs the damage from all of his sins. Another big upside for doing tshuva. Having protection, Likutei 1, Torah 31, having protection during travel depends on Shmirat HaBrit. Someone wants to be okay during a long trip, short trip, driving from New York to Florida, driving from New York to New Jersey. All depends on Brit. Someone who is Pogem Brit cannot pray with full concentration. It's impossible for them. Why? Because all of the things that lead them to waste seed are things they think about. When does the Satan come to you in your mind? When's the perfect time? 2 places, 2 times. Exactly when you are in Kedusha, which is prayer or studying. When's the second time? The wives are going to love this one. When he's supposed to be intimate with his wife. When he's intimate with his wife, that's when the Satan comes into your mind and reminds you of what you saw today. So in essence, instead of being with your wife, you're thinking you're with someone else. If your wife actually knew, she'd probably divorce you on the spot. And there's actually Chazal that says there's even a safek on the child that comes from that, if it's a mamzel. Someone who's a Pogem HaBrit should be very careful to protect themselves from dogs and anything dangerous, from weapons. Because he already has a kategor. He created himself so many demons that are going upstairs to Hashem, telling him, look at this sinner, this Rasha Merusha, that's killing your nation every day. He's killing 300 million of them every day. When someone puts themselves in danger, that's usually when they go to Hashem, and Hashem Erachem. That's why in Shabbat, in the Kabbalat Shabbat prayer, it says there's 3 reasons of why a woman dies during her pregnancy. There's 3 things. Why pregnancy? Why not just a regular day or Tuesday? Pregnancy is a dangerous time. Put yourself, you're in a dangerous time. That's when the kategor is going upstairs. You want to protect your wife? Protect your brit. When a person, heaven forbid, experiences nocturnal emission, meaning it went out without necessarily him doing it, it stems from klipa of lilis. Should her name be her name should be erased. I told you who that is already. Each one of these is about 30 of them. I'm just giving you the top picks. There's 80 pages. We'll keep this one for later. Nightmares. Anyone ever have nightmares? Now you know the source. Nightmares usually controlled by demons. Demons are created by that, by pgam brit. Many of them. Many of them. Likutei 2, Torah 5. For all you single guys looking for zivug, sometimes because of the sin of pgam brit, a person can actually lose his destined wife, his zivug. When he was brought to this world, right before his neshama went into the little baby, Hashem already decided who his zivug is going to be. You waste enough seed, you lower yourself, you lower your spiritual standings enough, your zivug is going to go to an appropriate person, which is not you.
How does one do tshuva?
Tshuva is always open, Baruch Hashem. You bring yourself back up. That's the point of doing this shiur.
How does do zivug?
Hashem knows. Don't worry. He created the heaven and the earth. He'll take care of that too. By fixing this sin, a person will find his destined wife. And on top of that, she will not be rebellious against him. Likutei Torah 87. Why is he mentioning she would not be rebellious against him? Because like I told you, sometimes a person wakes up and his wife is mad at him and he hasn't done anything yet. He just woke up. Why is she mad at him? Because our neshama knows that he wasted seed. Shem Rachem. She can't see, but our neshama knows. Says wasting seed causes havoc in the spiritual worlds. What does that mean? Imagine a person is hired, not exactly a genius, to work at a nuclear plant. They don't need a genius, they just need somebody with a gun to make sure no one presses the red button. That's it. He doesn't know what the red button does. Tell him each shift is 6 months. You can't leave this building for 6 months. Fine. He gets the job. He sits there with his gun, talking to himself all day. Eventually he sees the cleaning guy. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? They grab a drink. Which, by the way, Chazal says one of the major reasons why you're not allowed to drink on a regular basis, get drunk, is because it leads to wasting seed. This is Sefer Amidot 2, Shichrut. They hang out, have a few drinks. One day, the cleaning guy is like, so what do you do? Just look at this button all day. What's the button do? I said, I don't know. They just say it's a big deal. You want to press it? Yeah, why not? Let's see. I think they're lying to me. I think they just want to waste my time and torture me in this cell for 6 months. So, God, let's press it. So he starts pressing it. Come on, starts pressing it. He doesn't realize that each time he presses it, he launches a missile. A few hours later, a bunch of army men come inside with guns. Who's pressing the button? Who's destroying the world? Both of these drunk guys are on the floor laughing. And now they get the shock of their life. They're like, what? What are you talking about destroying the world? We were just pressing the button. Like, yes. You fool. Each time you launched a missile and killed 150 million people. That's wasting seed. That's Chilul Shabbat. You don't see the damage here right away. But in the spiritual world, you're destroying civilizations. When you arrive, without tshuva, you'll see. And a person that did it without doing tshuva would know that the place he arrived to is the Gehinom that he created for himself. It's no surprise. Rabbi Yochanan spoke up and said, all those who waste seed are punishable by death. It's correct. Rav Ami said, it is as if he sheds blood, it's murder. Rav Ashi says, it's as if he worships strange deities. Midrash HaGadol Vayeshev. Rav Acha Bar Yasha says, whoever wastes seeds equates himself to an animal. Just like an animal does not care what it does, so to this person randomly commits the sin. Just like an animal is set aside to be slaughtered and does not receive life in the future world, so to this person stands to die and does not live in the future world. Midrash HaGadol Vayeshev. Masechet Shabbat, page 41. Major flaw of the generation of the flood, as we said, they wasted seed. Rambam. Was a doctor, aside from being a major sage, a major chacham, where we have all of our halachot from. He knew what he was doing. One that wastes seed, his old age jumps on them, meaning that they age much faster. At 18 years old, we look the same. At 25, he looks like he's 35. At 30, he looks like he's 49. At 40, he looks like he's 60. If he survives to 60, it would be a miracle. His strength leaves him, and his eyes go weak. You start losing your vision at a very young age. Bad breath pours out of his mouth. Regardless of how many times he brushes his teeth, he always has bad breath. This is very common in today's world. His hair and eyebrows fall out, and hair of his legs and armpits become thick, and his teeth fall out or become weak. A lot of cavities. All of a sudden, when you were 18, you were a bull. By the time you're 25, you have worse teeth than your grandfather. What happened? You just took a shower, went outside for a half hour because of a little sweat. You sweat like, you smell like you've worked a full day in a toxic plant. Many additional health problems occur. Shulchan Aruch 240, Rambam Deot. I mentioned the sources so you guys don't think I made this up just for the fun of scaring you. This will be a good one for the mothers to know. One that wastes seed, heaven forbid, his children will die young or end up as evil people. It also causes poverty. Kitzur Shulchan Aruch 151. If a wife hears this and finds out that her husband wasted seed for a second, she'd probably torture him to death. Touch a mother's children, you're playing with fire. That's why Rabbi Yochanan, when his students came to him on his deathbed, he said, Rabbi, give us something. Give us some insight that we could take with us forever. He said, may you be scared of man, may you be scared of Hashem as much as you're scared of man. What? No, it's supposed to be opposite, no? Unfortunately, most of us don't have really Yirat Shamayim. We're scared of men. We're scared of the cops at 3 o'clock in the morning that are pulling us over more than we're scared of Hashem that's watching every single thing that we do. That's what Rabbi Yochanan was teaching us. Now, as we all know, someone reaches adulthood to a certain extent. For a girl it's 12, and for a boy it's 13, bar mitzvah. Until that time, any sin they make is their parents. Which is the reason why one of the brachot the father says that the boy's bar mitzvah is that he gets rid, that I get rid of myself of this responsibility. Meaning that if the 8-year-old played with a video game on Shabbat, the sin goes to the father. If the 11-year-old girl ate chametz on Pesach, it goes to the parents. There's only one sin that goes to their account, to the child's account, to the boy's account. Under the age, at any age, whether he's 2 years old, if it's possible, or he's 11, or he's 12, or he's 9, wasting seed. Wasting seed stays on his account. Doesn't go to his parents. Sha'arei Kedusha. Person under the age of mitzvot is not held accountable for his sins, except this one. For Er and Unan were under the age and got punished. You remember the punishment they got a moment ago that I read. As we know, each of the limbs, each of the mitzvot, we have 613 mitzvot, is for each part of our, each one of our body parts. Wasting seed defiles all of them. Each sin affects one body part, which is the reason why certain people that know Kabbalah, if you tell them something, if someone has a medical problem, you tell them what hurts, they'll tell you exactly what sin you need to rectify, what sin you need to do tshuva for in order for it to stop. They know the body, they know the sins, they understand things that are not known in the medical world. But we're wasting seed, someone wastes seed, it's all of them. All 613 mitzvot. All 613 parts. If someone is praying a lot, he wants Yeshua from Hashem, wants salvation. Kadosh Baruch Hu, I need a job. Kadosh Baruch Hu, I need parnasah. Kadosh Baruch Hu, I need a wife. I need something. I need to stay alive. His prayers are not accepted. Waste seed. Prayers go into deaf ears. You can pray until from here till tomorrow. Won't make a difference.
So is there a point to pray?
Of course there's a point to pray. You can't make it worse.
It's not accepted. It means every bracha you make.
You can't make it better.
Bracha levatala, no?
It's not bracha levatala, chas v'shalom, no. It's just that your prayer is not answered. Meaning you can pray. You're doing the mitzvah of praying. But as far as getting what you want, why are you going to get what you want if every day you're killing 300 million of his children? So the prayers are not answered. Each time a person does this sin, he causes the creation of a numberless amount of klipot to take the image of pigs and dogs. So the demons the person creates apparently look like pigs and dogs. Someone that dies without doing tshuva for Pgam HaBrit, just so they know, they get to the a Gehinom, that's a waste, a boiling waste. We'll leave the Gehinom part to that. I think you're scared enough, hopefully. Looking for something specific. A moment. Maybe here. Each time someone has something bad happen to him, they always blame God. David HaMelech wanted to remind us of that each day. In our tefillah of Mincha, we read a Tehillim 25, after Amidah. At one point it says, "Re'ei na'i ve'amali v'sal l'chol chatotai, re'o oivai ki rabu v'sinat Hamas seneuni." David HaMelech is crying to Hashem, see my affliction and how much I struggle. For what sins? What sins did I make? Look at my enemies and how great they've become, and how much violent hatred they have against me. This is the same thing as us. We lose a little bit of money. Girlfriend leaves us. Job's not good. This is not good. Complain to Hashem. What's the difference? David HaMelech actually didn't make a sin. So he's actually asking Hashem, what did I do? Did I have these enemies? If you're crying to Hashem about all the things that are happening, you better be ready. You better have a really good reason. Because all you're doing when someone is making the sin like this, making a worse sin, such as this, and telling Hashem, what sin did I make that you're punishing me like this? You get even more punishment for the chutzpah. Why am I punishing you? You just killed 300 of my boys this morning, another 300 million of them this afternoon, and you're planning to kill another 300 million later tonight, and you're asking me why you don't have any money? Money's coming out of you every day. As we all know, parnasah comes from the children. People that are worried about having enough money to have kids, it's the biggest thing that people have no idea. Each child comes with a parnasah. So that means that if someone has 4 kids, and they say, listen, I don't know if we could afford a 5th kid, maybe we should go to the rabbi, maybe he could give us the permission not to have any more kids, even though it's all 4 boys and supposed to do, Pur is supposed to be at least 1 boy, 1 girl. But maybe we can get a discount or something from the Rav. You could just say 4 boys is like 1 boy, 1 girl. Make a new halacha. For us, special. We don't have money, for the Rav, we don't have money. Little do they know that the 5th kid that's waiting, that the neshama that's waiting in the chamber upstairs, comes with $1.5 million. They don't know. Why? Because they think everything is in their hands. The parnasah is in their hands. Every time someone wastes seed, they're also wasting that $1.5 million. They're also wasting the $1 billion. They're also wasting this world. Not just talking about the next world. Next world, Hashem Erachem. They're literally creating themselves the worst type of Gehinom there is. One of these types of Gehinoms that doesn't end. Ever. People don't believe in eternal punishment. They think, nah, Kvod Harav, you're machmir. Too much. Where does it say in the Torah there's eternal punishment? Where does it say it? As we all know, we got Torah b'chtav and Torah b'al peh. Oral Torah and written Torah. You go to, I couldn't bring all of my books, so I have to put some on my phone. You go to Gemara, Masechet Rosh Hashanah, page 17. A. Wrongdoers of Israel who sin with their body. Sounds familiar, right? And wrongdoers of the Gentiles who sin with their body. Also sounds familiar. Go down to Gehinom and are punished there for 12 months. This is, if someone, the reason why I even read this Gemara initially is because someone told me, no, look, see, first verse over here means that they just get punished for 12 months. If you would have read the rest of the Gemara, you would have a different understanding. This first 12 months is the trial. After 12 months, their body is consumed, and their soul is burned, and the wind scatters them under the soles of the feet of the righteous. As it says, and you shall tread down the wicked, and they shall be as ashes under the soles of the righteous, of your feet. But as for the minim are like idol worshippers. And for the informers, and for the scoffers, who rejected the Torah and denied the resurrection of the dead. And those who abandoned the ways of the community. And those who spread their terror in the land of the living. And who sinned and made the masses sin, like Yerovam, the son of Navat, and his fellows. These will go down to Gehinom and be punished there for all generations. As it says, and they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have rebelled against me. Meaning, Gehinom will be consumed by, they will not be consumed. Meaning, Gehinom eventually will end, when the Mashiach comes, eventually there's no more Gehinom, except their part of the Gehinom. That continues forever. Why all this? Like, why is such a dear punishment? Because they laid their hands on the temple. As it says, I have surely built there a house of habitation. As you can see, the wasting seeds fits several of the descriptions. So it's not just a pirush, like some people think. Almost done. The Gemara Masechet Nida, page 13b. To talk about this issue and whether a man is allowed to even touch that area of his body. They say no, not allowed. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was also known as Rebbe, Rabbi HaKadosh. Chazal asks, why is he called Rabbi HaKadosh? Why isn't everyone else known as a Kadosh? Because he never even looked at that area of his body. Even with his eyes he didn't look. Of course he didn't touch. So Chazal says, yeah, but what if, how's a person going to go to the bathroom? You have to wear special pants. Okay. What about if you have a spike? Spike hurts. gets stuck in that area of the body. Painful. Gemara in Masechet Nida, page 13b, says, it's better off that his stomach will blow up and he die, rather than him remove the spike from that area that's hurting him. That's how careful they were to even touch the area. In same Gemara, Masechet Nida, page 13a, Rabbi Eliezer says, it's better that one would tell everyone that all of his kids are mamzerim and get a lifetime worth of shame than touch his private part and waste seed. It's better that he gets shame. Everyone calls him, hey, look, your wife was with another guy. Look, all your kids are mamzerim. Ha ha. And he can prove, no, they're not mamzerim, they're not mamzerim. So it's better that he gets that shame his whole life than waste seed one time. Shame is a big deal in Judaism. Someone who shames his friends in public, en lo chelek l'olam haba. Someone who makes fun of somebody in public has no share of the world to come. We learned this from David HaMelech. So to accept upon yourself the worst possible shame, that all your kids from another guy, your wife is a harlot, so accept it. Just don't waste seed. Why was Yosef HaTzadik called Yosef HaTzadik and no one else of the 12 tribes? We learn this from Gemara Sotah. He's called tzaddik because he didn't waste seed. It's so much so that when Potiphar's wife, the Gemara says, Potiphar's wife came on to him and Joseph almost sinned. He almost sinned. But then he saw the image of his father, reminding him that if you make this sin, one day when they have the Choshen, for the Kohen HaGadol, they're going to have to engrave the names of the 12 tribes. Your name will not be engraved. It's reminded, he gave Yosef HaTzadik some Yirat Shamayim, reminded him of what the sin is. The Gemara says he took his hands and he buried them into the ground, like forcefully breaking his hands, all the way to the point that miraculously the seed that was supposed to come out of that organ came out of his fingernails. Just don't waste seed. He's called a tzaddik because he did not waste seed. He protected his brit. The other 11 tribes did not protect the brit, apparently. A tzaddik, we learned from Sefer Yirmiyah. I think it's chapter 19, maybe. Let's see. Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 19. V'im totzi yakar mizolel kepit yeh. This is a verse I mentioned last night about Kiru, which we'll embellish on a little bit later. But from here it says, if you bring forth an honorable person from a glutton. So we learned that an honorable person is a tzaddik. Someone did tshuva. Someone did tshuva is considered yakar, honorable, precious. The opposite of yakar is something that's, as far as is obviously cheap. But here we're not talking about price. The opposite of a tzaddik is someone that's a rasha. So if you take the word yakar, which is yud, kuf, resh, and you change the order of the letters, you spell the word keri. which is what we talked about, which is wasting seed. The yakar, the numerical value of yakar, is 310. What's 310? Is the amount of worlds that a tzaddik gets in Olam Haba. Gets 310 worlds. That's what a yakar gets. You can figure out what the keri gets. We did that, right? Sefer Kabbalah wants to scare us a little bit more. It says that each time a drop of seed is wasted, there's a bad angel that takes the one drop, not the whole thing, just one of the drops, and uses it as a hostage to give the tumah more power against you. So, looking bad, smelling bad, aging fast, growing hair in strange places, losing years out of your life, losing Olam Haba, eternal punishment, demons, nightmare, in so many words. Time to stop. How do we stop? Why stop? Aside from being scared to death. How do you do tshuva for something like this? So a few things. First and foremost, tshuva is you have to stop immediately. You cannot continue the sin one more time. Someone starts, they don't do it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they fail. The